in child's pose tonight. And you can have knees touching, or you can have knees wide, creating a little bit more space for the body, your choice. But just relax down, hips back to heels if that is comfortable in your body. If that's too much on your knees, feel free to put a blanket between the heels and the hips so that you can just root down to something. Allow the forehead to release, either into the earth, perhaps stacked fists or a block. And then just allow the body to release down. Finding space across your spine. Feeling the tops of your feet. Feeling the tops of, or the fronts of your shins. And the palms of the hands all in contact with the earth. And really come into that grounded connection. As you become physically present, begin to tap into your breath just a bit, bringing your focus and your awareness to the rising of your inhale and the releasing of your exhale. Allow the breath cycle to become a bit deeper. Imagining you could feel the back completely expand outward. And then as you exhale, feel a release and a softening downward. If the mind wanders, keep guiding it back to the feeling of expansion and release with your breath cycle. And take a moment here to allow yourself to surrender and to be gentle, knowing that throughout the practice you can return right to this place at any time. Before we come into movement, take a moment here in your breath, in your body, to create an intention, something to focus on, whether that might be for you or for someone else. And knowing that the energy that you create through your movement today can be sent out into the universe to create these little rippling changes. Let's walk the hands over to the upper right corner of the mat, pushing the hip back toward the left, feeling the stretch over the left side waist. And walking your hands back through center, you'll take the hands now to your left as you feel the stretch across the right side waist. Coming right back up through center, we're going to walk our hands back so we end up sitting onto our heels. So we're just seated back on the heels. You'll drop your chin towards your chest. Roll your shoulders up to your ears and then drop them down the back, keeping that chin tucked. From here, bring the arms up overhead, interlace your fingers and draw the heels of the hands around the base of the skull, letting the elbows wrap down around the temples, and feeling the stretch over the back of your neck. Always revisiting that full, complete breath cycle. And with every exhale here, maybe feel a little bit deeper stretch come across the back of your neck. Allow your hands to rest down to your thighs. Roll your right ear gently to your right shoulder. Push downward through your left hand into the thigh, kind of sliding it toward your knee, and feel that stretch come a little bit deeper. Draw the chin down through the chest and let the left ear roll gently to the left shoulder. Giving a little bit of downward pressure out toward the knee. And then rolling the chin down through the chest. Take the hands now behind your back, interlacing your fingers. Draw the knuckles down and back and push up through the pinky side of your hand. You're feeling your shoulder blades squeeze toward one another and the chest open up. Slowly level the head over the shoulders, opening the eyes if they are not open already, and come to stand on your knees, keeping the hands in the bind. Drawing your knuckles down and back, you're going to gently lift the chest up as if you're reaching over a giant beach ball behind you. Tiny little back bend here. If you feel your low back, pull the belly button into the spine a bit deeper and feel that release. Slowly come back to neutral spine. Hands are going to come to your hips. You're going to take your right foot out to the side, and we're going to sit the left hip back to the heel, and then lift up. So it's a sit and a lift. And as you come to that sit, you're going to tilt the pelvis forward, releasing the low back. Pull the navel in as you come up, and then one more time sit. Walk your hands out now. Feel the inner thigh. If that becomes too much on the knee or the inner thigh, you can lift up off of that heel. Walk your hands back, shoulders over those hips once again. Right knee down, left leg out. Again, hands come to hips. Pelvis tilts as you sit back. Navel draws in as you lift up. Sitting back, taking this at your pace, and only go as far as feels comfortable. So maybe sitting all the way to the heel isn't great. Maybe simply fold forward and then lift up. Now we've got one more. You're going to stay where you are, wherever you land, and let your hands come in front of you. So either seated onto the heel or slightly forward with hips stacking over knee. Wherever you are, we're releasing through the inner thigh here. Just starting to get the body warm. And then this time, let the hands walk under the shoulders, send the left knee under the hip, and find two cat-cows. Move with your breath. The inhale lengthens the spine and opens the chest. Really take the gaze up. And the exhale rounds the spine, really tuck the chin down, working through the neck. Inhale, lengthen, lift, and open. Exhale, round, rinse, and stretch. Stay in this rounded spine. You're going to work your hips back to the right, so you're finding this stretch over the side waist and the low back. Work your hips over to the left. And slowly back to your neutral spine. We'll curl our toes under and lift the hips right up, finding that first downward facing dog. Now take a moment here, really let your head hang heavy. The gaze should be back between your heels. And you're pedaling out your feet, one heel and then the next. Notice how bending the knees releases your low back. And if that feels good to you, as we now settle both heels to the earth, a soft bend in the knees is perfectly fine. You'll actually get deeper into your hamstrings there. One more full breath here. Take your gaze up towards your thumbs. Walk to the top of your mat. Let your knees soften so that the chest comes down toward the thighs. Interlace your hands behind your head, hanging here in this ragdoll as you draw a little bit of tension out of the neck, using weight of the hands and gravity to help stretch that neck. Slowly, you're going to release your hands, let them hang heavy, sit your hips lower. And one vertebrae at a time, like you're unrolling a hose, you're going to rise up to stand, letting the head level over the shoulders last. As you lift up, you'll take the arms overhead on an inhale, and then fold forward with a flat back like a swan dive on the exhale. Lift here to your flat back, palms to shins. Send the hands to the earth and step it back to a plank pose. We're going to tap the knees to the floor and then extend the legs back. So you'll tap and extend, last time tap, and then land into the knees as you shift the weight forward and lower to the earth. Now here on your mat, you're going to take your left ear down, let your hands come beside you with the palms face up. With your left ear down, feel that gentle twist in your neck. Come through center, take your right ear down, gentle twist in the neck. Back through center, hands underneath your shoulders. Curl your toes, lengthen your chest upward, finding your cobra pose, and then lift your hips up to your downward facing dog. As you inhale, let the gaze come forward towards your thumbs. Exhale, walk up to the top of your mat. Lengthen halfway, lift flat back. Release into your fold, rise all the way up, arms up overhead as you reach. Fold it forward, swan dive with a flat back. Lengthen up halfway, lift, nice breath in. Plant those hands, step it back. This time we're going to alternate the knees. So tap left, extend, tap right. Just your pace, left and right. Navel always into spine, left and right. Good, both knees down. Rock forward, shoulders coming forward of your fingertips, lower all the way to the earth. This time, left ear comes down. Your left hand is going to come over the right side of the head, drawing that head down and over to your right a little bit. So you're just kind of feeling a little bit more pressure. Come right back through center, release the left hand down by your side. Take the gaze over the left shoulder so your right ear is down. And then take that right hand to the left side of the head, taking yourself into a bit of a deeper twist. Slowly releasing, right hand comes down. Let the forehead rest down into the earth here. With the forehead down, you're just going to roll the shoulders up off the floor, reaching the fingertips back. You'll feel your low back here. Navel pulls into spine. Lower that down. Roll your shoulders up, lower down. Last time, roll your shoulders up, hold it, release to neutral, send your hands under your shoulders, lengthen your chest up, cobra pose, and come up and back with the hips to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, your right leg will reach up behind you. You'll bend the knee and peel the hip open, getting across the front of the hip flexor a bit, and again, letting that head hang heavy. Slowly take your gaze forward and step your right foot outside of your right pinky finger. You're going to drop your back heel down and rise up to this really wide asymmetrical warrior one stance. So we're much wider than we normally would be. Lift the arms up. Sink into those hips and pull the navel into the spine. When you do that, you might feel it a bit deeper in your hip flexor than normal. So hips are square to the front of the camera, letting the shoulders draw down. Good. Now from here, take the palms to touch. Your thumbs, you may not be able to see me, I'll drop down. Thumbs to the nape of the neck. Let the head be cradled in those hands as you lift up and back. So feeling release and neutral in your neck. Feeling a lot happening in that hip flexor on the left. And then slowly release your hands inside that right leg. Peel the left heel up. So now you're in this wide lunge, supported on hands, left knee lifted. Circle out to your right side, so you're kind of rolling over the tips of the toes on that left foot. Come back to your neutral spine and step back to plank pose. This time knees can lower or you can roll to the tips of your toes. You'll lower down. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Chin tuck slightly as you now lift the back of the head, lift the shoulders, and reach the knuckles towards your heels. Tops of feet glued to floor. Lower down. Take the hands underneath your shoulders. Lengthen your chest, cobra pose. And lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale to take your left leg high. Bend the knee, peel the hip open. Step wide, left toes outside of left pinky, back heel roots. Rise up, wide warrior one stance. So bending that knee, hip point draws upwards so you feel the front of that hip even more. Again, you're gonna take the palms to touch, thumbs come to nape of neck as you cradle the head and lift up. You can even interlace your fingers, kind of making this clasp, and you feel the occipital ridge of the skull just rest in the heels of the hands. From here, slowly release, let your hands come down inside the left foot, right heel peels up, and you start to make circles from left to right. Now step back with the left foot. Either rock forward or drop to knees, lower all the way down. This time interlacing your hands, let your big toes touch. Send some energy out through the big toes and start to lift the legs and the shoulders and chest, keeping that chin tucked slightly, low back strengthening here. Release down. This time make a pillow with your forearms, rest your forehead, bend your knees and windshield wiper your feet. Relaxing those legs down, taking the hands underneath your shoulders, lengthen your chest, upward cobra pose, and up and back, downward facing dog. Let your gaze come forward towards your thumbs, walk up to meet your hands. Take your fists and put them right between your big toes. If you have too much space and the mounds of the big toes are not touching, draw in, and if you don't have enough space, draw out. Now from there, relax your hands, lift your arms up, sit your hips low, chair pose. Should feel neutral through your spine, pull the belly button back. Holding in your chair pose for 3, for 2, and on 1, opposite elbow to opposite hand, fold forward. Hanging the head heavy, shaking the head yes and no. Lengthen here, halfway lift. Weight comes into your heels, arms come out wide. Lift all the way up with a flat back. Hook your thumbs up overhead and step your left foot back into your crescent lunge. So your hands are, you have these little hooked thumbs. Your hands are up overhead, bend the elbows slightly. Push back, lift up. So again, that little imaginary beach ball, pull the belly button to the spine a bit. Release the clasp of the thumbs and fold forward, navel into spine. Go ahead, inhale, rise and reach. Exhale, fold and reach back. Inhale, rise and reach. Exhale, fold and reach back. Interlace your hands behind your back, just like we did on the floor. Lengthen your chest forward. Feeling this right thigh, right glute. With clasped hands, you're gonna step your left foot up, sit low in your chair, and fold your chest over those thighs. Gaze is down. Release and fold into ragdoll, opposite elbow to opposite hand. Notice the difference between right and left sides. Lengthen up halfway, palms to shins. Arms out wide, weight into the heels, rise up. Again, hooking thumbs up overhead, this time right foot steps back, crescent lunge. Lifting up and back, bend those elbows. Feeling the stretch across the chest. Nice deep breath in and out. Now one more breath in, and on your exhale, release the clasp and fold as you reach the arms back. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, reach back, fold. Last time, inhale, rise up. This time as you exhale, you'll interlace behind your back. Knuckles draw down and back. Gaze is slightly forward of the big toe and down on the floor. Slowly step right foot up, chair pose, folding over, wringing out those shoulders. And then release into your ragdoll. This time take your feet as wide as the mat in your ragdoll. And fold even deeper. Plant your hands to the earth, step it back to plank pose. Rolling to tips of toes or dropping knees, lower down. Let the arms come out, almost like the letter X. Let the legs come out like the bottom of the letter X. Chin stays tucked, everything lifts up off of the floor, strengthening across low back and glutes. Chin is tucked to keep neutral neck. Hold here. Release, hands underneath shoulders, lengthen chest up. And then meet in downward facing dog. Let's inhale, let the right leg come up behind you, and exhale, immediately step it through traditional warrior one, back heel flat. So now you have more heel to heel alignment. We're not as wide as we were to start. Arms will reach. Good. Let the arms come out wide like cactus arms. Pull the elbows back as shoulder blades come toward one another. As you inhale, rise the arms up. As you exhale, pull the elbows down and back. Good. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, elbows down and back. Last time, inhale, rise up. Good. As you exhale, hands to hips, straighten out the front leg. Lift your chest up and fold over that front leg, feeling the hamstring here. Now, pressure into the big toe edge of the front foot will give you a little more sense of balance, as will pulling the belly button up to the spine. Slowly bend into the knee, sweep the arms up overhead. Frame the foot and step it back to your plank. Coming through your variation of your flow, lowering down, lifting to cobra, and meeting in your down dog. Inhale up through your left leg. Exhale, step through. Again, traditional warrior one, back heel seals, arms rise up. Finding your stability in your foundation, and then open the arms out like cactus arms. Lifting and opening across the chest. Good. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, arms pull down. Good. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull down. Last time, you'll reach up. Good. As you pull down, let the hands rest at your hips and straighten out that front left leg. Lift the chest and fold that nice flat spine over your straight left leg. Bending into the knee, sweep the arms up, warrior one once again. Take the hands down, framing your foot, and step it back, plank pose. This time, lower all the way to the earth, taking your arms out and down so they kind of look like airplane wings. They're out to the side just a little bit. You're gonna lift your chest, lift your arms. Start there, chin is tucked. Now take your big toes to touch, send energy outward, lift the legs. Holding here. And release, hands come underneath your shoulders. Lengthen your chest up and curl your toes, lifting your hips back. Take a minute here, reconnect with your breath, maybe pedal out the feet, neutralize that low back. And then settle both heels to the earth. Taking that right leg up behind you, stepping it forward, you'll find crescent lunge here. Back heel stays lifted, sweep the arms up. We're gonna open out like cactus arms again, just as we did in Warrior One. Twist to your right side, come back to center. Twist to your right side, come back to center. One more time, twist to your right side, stay here. Drop into your back knee a little bit. Now that you're deeper in the hip, just press the heel back to straighten the knee. Stay twisted. Reach the arms out like the letter T and come forward as if you're reaching the left fingertips toward the camera. Letting that hand hook over the outside of the knee. Top arm reaches up. You're in a twisted crescent lunge now. Breathing here, feeling that ringing out through the spine. If you want more in the neck, you can maybe take the gaze to your top thumb, although that does mess with balance a bit. Slowly and gently come back through center, rise up. Hands come to center chest. Step up, chair pose. Hands right at center chest here. Interlace your hands, press the palms forward, lift all the way to stand. Reach up and over to your right side. Come through center, reach up and over to your left side. And inhale to center, exhale, fold forward. Lengthening here, halfway lift. Plant those hands, step it back to your plank. Lower through your variation of the flow, whatever that looks and feels like. Maybe it's just landing in child's pose. But wherever we are, we meet in either down dog or child's. And breathe. You might even close your eyes here and notice the difference between the two sides of the body. And then inhale, lift the left leg high. As you exhale, step it through, find crescent lunge. Sweeping those arms up once you find solid foundation. And then let those arms come out like cactus arms. Breath in here. As you breathe out, twist left. Good. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist left. One more time, center. And then you're going to twist left. Stay twisted. Drop the back knee a bit. And then extend from there, staying low in the hips. Reach the arms out. Reach over that knee and take the hand down. Top arm will reach up a bit. Feeling that twist right across your low back. Slowly and gently come through center. Take the hands to center chest. Bending into both knees, step up, chair pose. Interlace your fingers, press the palms forward and reach all the way up. Good. This time you're going to just reach up and back. So you're finding a little back bend here. Navel pulling to spine if the back is tight here. And slowly fold it forward. Lengthen here, halfway lift. Plant those hands, step it back. You're going to find plank and then walk your feet wide and let your knees and shins drop. Outside edges of the mat here. Press back to this wide child's pose. Feel the low back release. We've done a lot of strengthening of the low back today, which got us nice and warm. And now we're going to twist out. So from here, let's come all the way up, walking the hands back under the shoulders, walking the knees under the hips. Take the right leg back behind you and lift the leg up to hip height. You're going to bend the knee and peel the knee open to the shoulder to step wide outside of your pinky finger. You're in this low lunge, knee is down, hands are down. Let the chest open. Take your right hand to your right knee. Feel a twist here. Maybe take your gaze all the way up to the corner of the room, feeling that in the neck as well. You're coming through the entire spine with that twist. Slowly release your gaze first. Take your hands down and walk them over to the left side of the room. Trying not to let that knee fall inward. Keep it straight up to 12 o'clock. And then walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Send your right leg back and find a cat-cow here. Just noticing again the difference between the two sides of the body. Extend back through left toes, lift up, bend the knee, and send the knee wide, stepping outside of your pinky and dropping your hips down. Broadening here across your chest. And then taking the twist, left hand to knee, twist to your left, perhaps taking the gaze upward over the shoulder. Coming back to neutral with the neck, hands will come down. You're gonna walk your hands over to your right side, keep peeling open. So here what we're doing is we're getting across the hip flexor on the right and deeply into the inner thigh on the left. And if the inner thighs are tight, the tendency is that the knee wants to fall inward. So we're opening them up by pressing back toward the pinky. Walk your hands back under your shoulders. Take that left knee back to meet the right knee and find a cat-cow here. Lengthen and round, even round through that chin in the back of the neck. Now from here, push your hips back to your heels. Feel that length right across the low back. And slowly you're gonna walk your hands back and come to sit right onto your heels. So the body's pretty warm now. We've done a lot very specifically in the lumbar region of the spine, so from the ribs down to the top of the hips. We're gonna combine neck and low back here by taking rabbit pose. Hands come beside you. Tuck your chin, palms are facing in. Start to roll down like you're tightly winding up a hose. And once you hit the point where you feel like, okay, I'm not going anywhere, stay there. But perhaps your forehead comes to the tops of your thighs or the tops of your knees. And if that happens, you lift your hips up. But wherever you are in the pose, you should feel deep stretch over the neck and across the entire back. Slowly release, hips to heels, walk your hands out, child's pose. Starting to walk your hands back now. We're gonna sit to the right hip. With your right hip down, you'll take the right shin forward and left shin back. Setting up for this variation on pigeon. Start to walk your hands forward over that right shin. The forearms can be met by the floor or anything that might raise you up. The idea is the chest is nice and long and the back is as flat as possible. Walk your hands over to your left side, adding in a stretch to your low back here. Now walk your hands through center, take your hands under your shoulders. You're gonna roll toward that shin and then slide your left leg back long behind you as we set up for pigeon. Now if your knees are not comfortable here, take the same pose we just took. If you want pigeon, extend that left leg back, and if your right hip does not comfortably meet the floor, you can kind of bunch up your mat or a sweatshirt or blanket so that your hip doesn't roll off to the side. And then from there, we'll fold forward, forearms down. Even forehead might rest on something. stacked fists, stacked palms, or the floor. And while you should be feeling pretty deep sensation across your right outer hip, in particular the piriformis, which is a horizontally running muscle, this is actually helping deeply release your low back. Now, wherever you are in the pose, your hands are gonna walk to your left. So even if you were in the variation that we took to start, your hands will walk left. With your right elbow to the floor, take your palms to touch so they stack. And then you're gonna start to twist your torso to the left, taking your gaze up over the left shoulder. So this is twisted pigeon pose. Low back, hip, neck, the whole shebang. And slowly, gently come back through center, walking your hands underneath your shoulders. Curl your left toes under, and you're gonna slide that right foot out into half frog. So your knee is at a 90-degree bend to your hip, and your ankle is 90-degree bend at the foot. So you have this little frog leg, and you start to press downward and outward through the knee, feeling the front of the hip start to open. Let your right arm come out, extend your left arm under it, feel the stretch across the shoulders to begin. And then take the right hand to your right hip. Begin to open up the chest. Imagine you are peeling the back toward the floor, coming into this twist. It's right across the back. And the deeper you draw that right knee up, the more you feel it into your hip. So that's completely your choice. Slowly release the right hand back. Start to slide the right leg back, unthread the left, and take the forearms down. You should feel a pretty significant difference between right and left sides here. Forearms are on the floor. Elbows I would say start slightly in front of the line of the shoulder. Upper arms come upward, head drops heavy, hanging off the neck like a bowling ball. What you should feel here is almost this acupressure kind of Vulcan grip across the trapezius muscles in the shoulders and the neck. If you are not feeling that or wish to feel it deeper, let the elbows walk in toward one another more and or back or forward until you get the most sensation that is comfortable for you. And with every exhale, see if maybe the head can release even deeper. Slowly release the head upward. Take your hands under your shoulders. Curl your toes, come back through tabletop pose, and find a cat-cow. We'll sit to the left hip and take the left shin forward. So you're in this little baby deer legs, and start to walk your upper body over that left shin. Begin to walk your hands over to your right side, feeling that stretch come across your low back now. And then walk your hands back, taking hands to the floor. You're gonna slide forward to that shin and then walk that right foot back. Again, if you're taking pigeon variation, otherwise stay with the legs the way they are. And you will start to come down, hips are square, trying to stuff anything, build the floor up to meet that hip if you need, and walk the hands forward, letting forehead rest on something. Maybe stacked hands, fists, blocks, or floor. If the discomfort in the hip gets intense, just try and breathe a little bit deeper. And if it becomes to the point where breathing is still not helping, back off the pose and bend that right knee, drawing it upward. So we don't want pain, we want this therapeutic discomfort. Walk your hands now over to your right side. Keep your left elbow on the floor, stack your palms. Come into this twist as you peel the chest open to the right and take your gaze up over your right shoulder. Slowly come right back through center, walking the hands underneath your shoulders. Curl your back toes, walk up enough that you have space now to slide that left leg out into half frog. Whoopsie doops, hold on, what is happening? Oh, come on. No. Technical difficulties, my Zoom knocked out. I will have this back up and running shortly, and of course it's telling me it needs an update. Are you freaking kidding me? Why? Hi, I'm here. I don't know what happened. Okay. So you've probably been in this little frog pose for a little while. My Zoom just went blank on me. All right, you're going to extend your left arm, thread your right arm under. Start with your shoulder stretch. And then take your hand to your hip and open up across the chest. I apologize for the technical difficulties. My screen went completely white and then told me I needed to update Zoom. Feel the twist in your low back and across your hip. Slowly come back through center with the arm, unthread, unwind that leg, stack your forearms, bend both knees. Swish those feet back and forth like windshield wipers. And send the legs down. Again, we're going to take that yin variation through the neck. So set up the forearms and drop the chest. Let the head hang heavy. So you kind of let the chest drop down as the arms rise up a bit. Feeling those upper arm bones act as little tent posts. This simply releases the soft tissue across the traps. And we'll slowly prop up again, walk your hands back, coming to your tabletop pose and then to a comfortable seat. All right, from here, let your right heel draw toward your left glute. Draw your left heel in toward your right ankle and send the left hand behind your back. Lift up tall. Nice tall spine is going to help us here. And then you're going to hook your right elbow outside of that knee and begin to use that traction to twist. Press the outer knee into the elbow or tricep and maybe even take the gaze right over your left shoulder. So all of this ringing and twisting really helps the low back. And if you can get the neck to move, it's really helpful for the neck as well. Slowly back through center, switching the way the legs are crossed. So now left heel toward right hip and right foot in front. Right hand behind for propping, left arm lifts, find that twist. If hooking the elbow isn't comfortable, just grab hold of the knee. But wherever you are, use a little bit of traction, knee to arm to knee, And send that gaze back as well. Slowly come back through center. Sending the legs now wide. And we're gonna just do this little kind of lift and shift. So you're gonna put one hand in front, one hand behind, lift hips, shift them back. It's gonna take the tailbone back under you again. Right hand reaches down the ankle, lift up left arm. Take the hand behind the head. Open up across your chest here. You will feel it right across the waist and perhaps into the QL, that big muscle in the low back. Now, without bending, without closing the elbow in, close the shoulder off as if you're reaching for that inner knee. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. As you exhale, this time left hand comes to right hand. Use that for traction to pull down. Entire left side of low back here. Perhaps inner thighs and hamstrings as well. And come back through center. Let the left hand come to the left leg. Right hand comes behind you. Start with the opening. And then slowly close that shoulder off without letting your elbow drop. Open and close. Open and close. Now last time you'll open up. And as you close, take your right hand to your left hand or arm and pull down. Coming right back through center. Take your hands behind your knees. You'll lean back a bit as the feet slide in. Soles of feet to touch, hands to your ankles. Lift your chest up and start to circle. I think I figured out my technical difficulty. I think I touched my AirPod and I must have just sent myself out of Zoom for a minute. Now you're gonna switch other direction. Technology. It's a delight when it works. Last time through center, let the elbows drop in. Let your chest lengthen forward, but then let your head hang heavy off the shoulders here. So you should feel inner thighs here, but you should also feel the muscles of the back and the neck just kind of draping into neutral here. And slowly you'll rise all the way up. Hands come behind the outer knees, lift the knees, send the chest tall, and then round the spine, slowly dragging those heels in as you bring the knees into the chest and release down to the floor. Let the arms come out like the letter T and drop the knees over to your right side. Imagine those knees could come as close to the armpit as possible. You'll feel that deeply across your low back. Take your gaze and look over your left shoulder. Right hand can even come on top of that left knee for a little bit deeper twist. Releasing the hand if it was on the knee, lift the legs up through center and guide them over now to your left side. Taking your gaze and looking over your right shoulder. Maybe that left hand comes to the right knee. Finding a little deeper twist here. And slowly lifting through center. Letting knees draw into the chest. You're going to tuck your chin deeply. Just round up. So you're rounding up, tucking the forehead into the knees. Really tuck that chin. And slowly release one vertebrae at a time, keeping those knees into the chest. As you inhale, press the knees out into the hands. You'll feel the thighs come away from the torso a bit. As you exhale, pull back in. Inhale, press. Exhale, pull back in. Last time, inhale, press. Exhale, pull back in. Release your hands by your side. Send your legs up. So this is legs up the wall. Now, if you have a wall near you, you can simply rest the feet against the wall And you can even stay here for Shavasana if you like. But we're here for about 3 breaths. And you'll slowly and gently release your legs long down your mat. Allowing the body to become still, taking whatever props you might need to feel as comfortable as possible in stillness. Feel the weight of the body surrender deeply into the mat. And reconnect with the physical body, all of the points that are in contact. As you feel this grounded awareness, allow your attention to come to your breath once again. Imagining your breath like a wave, rising from the tips of your toes over the body to the crown of the head, and receding from the crown of the head back down and out through the tips of the toes. Much like the waves of the ocean, the first few breaths might be a bit foamy or frothy as the inhale rises, perhaps a lot going on. As the exhale recedes, you see and feel any tension, any sediment releasing out, washing away. And as you repeat this cycle and this imagery, and the body and the breath become a bit more still, those waves become clear and soft. Gentle rise, gentle release, natural rhythm of breath. to bring your awareness back to your physical body, allowing those gentle waves to wake up some movement through fingers and toes, perhaps wiggling and circling ankles and wrists, finding any final stretches before drawing the knees in towards your chest and making your way off to whichever side calls to you tonight. Using your hands to press you up to a comfortable seated position, allowing the eyes to close and the hands to rest with knuckles on knees and palms facing upward. As you arrive, simply scan your body one last time, noticing changes that you might feel between the start and the end of the session, and reflecting on those changes with gratitude for providing yourself the space and the time to find balance, and to allow the body, the mind, and the soul to become one on the mat. And as always, I love to end with a quote, and today in my journeys through Salem, Mass, I bought myself this cute little bracelet that is actually a December birthstone, which I find interesting because I don't have any connection to December. But it's a blue topaz, and it brings healing and spiritually centering energy. And the quote that went along with it I found extremely appropriate, especially after losing my connection. The practice of forgiveness is our most important contribution to the healing of the world. That is by one of my favorites, Marianne Williamson. And I think that in this time where we're trying to kind of find our way, that forgiving ourselves is the first step. Whether that's forgiving ourselves for past, forgiving ourselves for things that we feel we are contributing to now, forgiveness is the first step to healing. So as we reflect on that and we call to mind the intention that we set at the beginning of practice, I invite you to rise the arms up overhead and gather your intention in the hands as you pull them down to center chest. I'll seal the practice with a single round Om. You're welcome to join in or simply listen to the vibration of the sound. Inhaling. Surrendering the head to the heart as you swallow in the back of your throat, raising your thumb knuckles to center forehead. All that is light and forgiveness in me honors and shines to all that is light and forgiveness in each of you. Namaste.